Okay, I'm actually starting a little later than I would have wanted to. Since we're doing that, we're gonna get right into it. It's Monday, June 12th, and I am currently reading two books. I am reading Belladonna. I'm only like a hundred and something pages in, 134 pages in. And I'm also reading House Moving Castle, which I think more people are familiar with the movie as opposed to the book, but that's one of my assigned readings right now, so that's probably the first thing I'm gonna start with today, even though it's already like 6 p.m. As for updates on where I am, I'm not too far into House Moving Castle. I'm like 58 pages into the ebook. And so far it's really interesting. I really am enjoying the relationship between the sisters. I was expecting like the stereotypical evil sisters, but they're really supportive, which I like. And as for Belladonna, I'm not really sure yet how I feel. The beginning was a little bit slow because I had actually forgotten that this was a murder mystery plot until I was reminded of it, because it actually was finally established not long ago. It was like 20 pages ago. I don't know. It felt a little bit slow to get there, but I'm hoping it'll pick up now since we have established that. I really want to like this book. Not only because I've heard so many good things, but like, look at this. Like, not liking this with this cover, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I will talk to you in my next update.
You know you got my head in the clouds, losing my breath, but I'm not coming down. Like it could.
It's the next day. I don't know how many pages exactly I ended up reading of House Moving Castle, but I will check and tell you at the end of this, because I have to read more of House Moving Castle for tomorrow, so I'm gonna do that, and then I might read a little bit of Belladonna, but I'm not sure yet. We're just gonna see what happens. If I'm not too tired after reading what I have to read for House Moving Castle, then I may also read a little bit of Belladonna, but I don't know, because I got two more books, which in hindsight, I shouldn't have, because now I want to start on those two books. One of them I've really been expecting. The other one, it was on my TBR, but it wasn't that high. And then I had too many options and I wanted to buy a book with a gift card I had. So I asked on TikTok, and this was the top voted book. By top voted, I mean it got 5 votes, which is a lot more than the others. And then I also asked on Instagram, and it was also a contender. Like, it was, I think, second after A Good Girl's, no, As Good as Dead, because I'm missing the third book. That's the only one I have to read in that trilogy. I may end up changing my current read, but I know that if I go to these two books I got, then I will probably start reading them and fly through them and then forget about Belladonna, which I don't want to do because I want to finish it instead of spending 2 months reading it. For now, I'm going to read House Moving Castle, and I will update you when I'm done. You guessed it, it's the next day. I'm going to give you my updates for what I read for Monday and Tuesday, which I only ended up reading for House Moving Castle. I didn't end up reading Belladonna. I genuinely don't know what it is, because I was so excited to start. I had heard so many good things, and I keep hearing good things, but there's something about it. Like, it took a little more than 100 pages to kind of like establish the mystery plot, like I said before. And so now it's like when things start to pick up, but I think because it took 100 and so pages, I'm not as excited. I don't know why, because like usually with fantasy books, that's like around what you have to wait for things to like get going. It's usually like 100 and something pages or more sometimes, but I don't know, my excitement has just dwindled. Also, I have a confession to make. Probably shouldn't have done this, But it's done. And now I don't know what to do. I think I might have mentioned I ordered 2 books recently, and I made the mistake of reading a little bit of one of these books. I thought it had been like 4 chapters. Really, I ended up reading 9 chapters of this book. I'm just gonna show you. The 2 books I got are Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams and Flawless by Elsie Silver. Now, in my brain, it was easier to, after finishing my current reads, start Practice Makes Perfect, because I already read When in Rome, and there's also no more books after this, and it's really short. It's like, I think 331 pages. That's pretty quick. However, if I started this first, which I did, kind of, because like I stopped myself because there's already things that I want to tab, but I was like, I'll just read like 5 pages, so it's not worth tabbing or looking for my tabs or my bookmark, because like I'm not gonna read that much. But I ended up reading 9 chapters. But I'm gonna start again when I get to this, which at this rate, I'm really considering dropping my current read, aka Belladonna, to read this. As I was saying, the logic was to start that one first, because if I started this first and I potentially became obsessed with this, I was gonna want to continue the series, obviously, but there's 3 more books, and so if I do that, I'm probably gonna forget about, not only about Belladonna, but also about this book and like every other book until I finish this series. So basically I messed up. The last line of chapter 9 was probably the cutest thing I've read in the book so far. I don't think I should have started it. I'm gonna try to forget about what I read from Flawless, and I am actually gonna finish House Moving Castle today, and then I'm gonna try to read Belladonna. I'm gonna give it a chance, and if I feel like I could get more interested in it, I will read as much as I can of that one so that I can finish faster and start those. As for the updates for Monday and Tuesday, House Moving Castle I started on Sunday, so I was 123 pages total in House Moving Castle on Monday, and that was 64 pages read, which sounds like nothing. I'm just not at all inspired to read Belladonna right now. There's one thing that maybe kind of explains why, but I feel like with a fantasy that is more often than not gonna be the case. I was recently watching a Haley Femme video, and she pointed out that the reason why she liked Emily Henry so much is because Emily Henry uses so much dialogue. And I was like, that is it. That's why I just like, fantasy usually will have, again, more often than not, there will be like pages of just setting description or world building or inner monologue instead of dialogue, and that just like, I just zone out sometimes and I have to reread, or I just catch myself just being like kind of bored or thinking it's dragging and just kind of want to get to the action. But like, I don't understand, because I feel like Belladonna did not take that long to go into dialogue, but it did take a while again to establish what I'm assuming is going to be one of the main plots of the book, which is the murder mystery aspect of it. I deviated from the point so far, I'm so sorry. Monday, 64 pages, and then Tuesday I read 47 pages, so even less. Now that I've given you my updates, I'm gonna finish House Moving Castle. I'm gonna take a minute to decide whether I want to read Belladonna. Actually, scratch that. I'm probably gonna not let myself think about it and just pick it up and start reading and see if I get interested. And even if I don't, I don't want to DNF. I will let you know when I'm done.
We used to have each other's playlists. No, no. Used to be each other's best
Clearly
friends.
much later. I finished Howl's Moving Castle. I did not read Belladonna, and I am tired and I'm going to sleep. I ended up reading 54 pages today. This is really making me feel self-conscious because I feel like I've read nothing. But anyway, now that I'm done with Howl's Moving Castle, I can maybe read Belladonna and one of these two. I'm really gonna try for it to be this one because it seems just like a fun quick read, and I've heard so much about it, and I also love the dedication. I will see you tomorrow.
If we could run it, if we could run it back, and do you wonder if we could run it back? If we could run it,
I'm pretty sure I'm shipping her with someone who's not the main love interest.
if we could run it, the things I didn't know, I had to get out down the road, inside of the same old, caught in the circles round they go. It's hard when you keep close, rewind with my eyes closed.
This video did not go as planned at all. It's Saturday. I did just showed you some reading I did yesterday, and I didn't film on Thursday, so that's the jump. After finishing Howl's Moving Castle, I didn't record, but I did decide that I wanted to like get a little bit more of Belladonna just because I wanted to like read at least enough that I would decide whether I'm invested or not, and if I would continue that or start one of the two romances I showed you. I did continue Belladonna, and I'm a little more invested, and it's getting a bit more interesting. So while I didn't record, on Thursday I ended up reading 63 pages of Belladonna, which put me at 195 pages total through the book. And yesterday, the clips you just saw of me reading, I actually read quite a lot right before I got sick, which is why I didn't talk to you. I'm actually glad I got those clips before I started feeling bad, because if not, there would have been nothing for Friday. Having said that, I read 67 pages yesterday, which put me at 262 262 yeah, 262 pages through the book. I think like, yeah, like I don't know if you can see, but it's like a little more than halfway through. I think you can tell by the posts how it's going. Like, I am getting more invested, but it's not like I'm obsessed, which makes me really sad because I keep hearing so many good things about this book. I really thought, I don't know, this is what being a mood reader is. Like, I was so excited to start it, and right when I do, I get these two, and suddenly I just want to read pink covered romances. This is most likely gonna be a realistic read with me in a week, because this is how my year looks like, until there's days where I just feel like doing nothing except read, and I end up binging 1 or 2 books, and then that's how I have an actual chance at meeting my reading challenge. For me, this was a really bad week. Now for the entire week, basically Monday I read 64 pages, on Tuesday I read 47 pages, Wednesday I read 54, Thursday 63, and Friday I read 67 pages, which means that in 5 whole days I read 297 pages. That is probably less than practice makes perfect. I really want to do another one of these. I can pick up whatever books I want and whatever books I feel like, and actually be in the mood to read them and show you maybe possibly more reading and what I can read when I'm not stuck. that was it for this video. If you liked what you see or you like this kind of bookish content, let me know so I can make more of it and maybe stay around to see what I do with this. I would love for you to stay around so we can share more about the books we read, how often we read, and the types of books we like and don't like. And let me know if you've read any of the two books, because I think a lot of people are more familiar with House Moving Castle with the film. As for Belladonna, I think a lot of people have really good things to say about it. So whether you liked it or not, let me know if you've read it. I will see you in my next one. Thank you for watching.